So students, let us start our today's demonstration for the experiment to determine the Hall coefficient of semiconductor in the form of the name determination of Hall coefficient of semiconductor. As we already considered that inside the semiconductor there are two types of charge carriers present, and that is determined by the Hall coefficient measurement, where Hall coefficient is nothing but the quantitative measurement of the Hall effect which is set up in the semiconductor. As we already considered that if a current carrying semiconductor is placed in a magnetic field in a direction perpendicular to the current, then a voltage will be developed in a direction perpendicular to both the direction of flow of current as well as the magnetic field, and the corresponding voltage is called the Hall voltage and the corresponding field is called the Hall field. Now the expression for the Hall field, let us take a look. Just take a look at the board. What is there? That is EH equal to R J cross H. So this is the Hall field which is proportional to cross product of current density and the magnetic field, and this is the constant known as the Hall coefficient. So we have to determine the value of R through this experiment. Now just take a look. What about R? Now this is the modulus mod of EH divided by mod of cross product of J and H. Okay. Now how to get the value? So we considered that a current carrying semiconductor is placed in a magnetic field and the corresponding voltage is the Hall voltage and the field Hall field is developed. Now from this expression it is very clear to all of you that what about the direction of EH, the Hall field? It is perpendicular to the plane containing J and H, where J is the current density and H is the corresponding magnetic field. Now if you consider J along X, say J along X, the current density, that means current we are considering flowing along X. So what about the corresponding current density? Current per unit area. So if it is along X, so what about the corresponding unit area? It will be along the direction of Y and Z. Okay. Now the magnetic field we are considering along Z. So perpendicular to direction of current. It is along X, say it is along Z. So what about the direction of EH? EH must be along Y, which is perpendicular to both X and Z. Clear? Now look here. What about J cross H? The modulus means JH sine 90, because angle between them is sine 90. So what we will get? JH. From J cross H bond, we will ultimately get JH. Okay, because sine 90 equal to 1. And what is this field? Field is the potential gradient. So we will write it as VH by Y. Why? Because EH is along Y. So what about the corresponding potential gradient? VH by Y. Now J is the current density. What is current density? Current per unit area. So I by YZ. Why YZ? Because it is along X. So what about the perpendicular direction of the area? That is along YZ. And for which you are considering? We are considering for semiconductor, the crystal. What about its shape? We have taken it in the form of a cuboid, though its three sides are different. One is X, other is Y, other is Z. So I by YZ is the area corresponding to the current flowing along X. So I by YZ we are getting. Now look here, Y will cancel out and we are getting VHZ divided by I into H. Now what is VH? VH is the Hall voltage. What is Z? I already mentioned X, Y, Z are three dimensions of the crystal, that is semiconductor crystal. Here we have taken germanium. So Z is basically the thickness of the germanium crystal which will be supplied to us. It will be supplied to us. We will not measure it. And what about I? I is the current flowing through the semiconductor of germanium, and H is the corresponding magnetic field what we have taken. So to determine the Hall coefficient, which is a measure of quantitative value of the Hall coefficient, Hall voltage, or rather Hall effect. R is the Hall coefficient. It is the quantitative measurement of the Hall effect. Okay. So to determine R, we have to know VH as well as I as well as H. Now look at the tables. The first table 1, what we will measure here? We will here vary I, the current passing through semiconductor. Accordingly, Hall voltage we will get, and here we will keep magnetic field constant. So this table shows the variation of current versus Hall voltage. Okay. And from the data, if we plot I along X and corresponding Hall voltage along Y, we should get rather a straight line passing through origin if our data collection is correct. Now come to the, so here what we did, so VH versus I, keeping H constant. Now come to table 2. Here we will vary H and we will take VH, keeping I constant. Okay. So here number of observations we will take and magnetic field we will vary, and the Hall voltage what we will get, that we will measure. Now here the current I passing through semiconductor is kept constant. So the corresponding graph will be by plotting H along X and by plotting VH along Y. That means from table 1 we are getting I is independent variable. That means we will change it. Accordingly we will get the Hall voltage. And in table 2 here H is independent variable. We will vary it. Accordingly we will get the Hall voltage. And again it will also pass through origin in the form of a straight line, the variation of VH and H, provided our data collection is correct. Okay. So before coming to this data exactly, let us now move to the setup, how to collect the data. Here. So, dear students, this is our Hall effect setup data. It is a little bit big size equipment, combinations of many of the things. Let us take a look. What about this? First, we take a look at the magnetic field part. Okay, that is very, very important one. And this is the electromagnet with the help of which we will create or we will produce the magnetic field. And this is the digital Gauss meter with the help of which we will measure the magnetic field. Now, since this is the electromagnet, so we have to pass the current through it, then only magnetic field will be created, and that will be measured with the help of this type of Hall probe, which is made in our lab in the form of by India arsenide. Okay. So our lab setup consists of Hall probe made up of India arsenide. Now take a look. This is the two poles of the electromagnet. Now, current, this is constant current power supply. So, say this is 1.2 ampere current. Okay, it is showing 1.2 ampere current. So, what about the corresponding field? Just take a look. This is the field what is developed here, the magnetic field, 1311 Gauss. Okay, so this is connected, actually this Hall probe is connected to this Gauss meter, and here the magnetic field is developed due to the current flowing through it. Now this Hall probe is probing or intersecting this magnetic field, and since it is connected directly to Gauss meter, so you are getting the magnetic field what is developed there. Clear? So we are measuring the magnetic field this way, and you can use this magnetic field on your semiconductor to get its effect. Clear? So this is the part for magnetic field production and measurement. Now let us come here. What about the semiconductor? Just in the last class we have seen that it is a small crystal. Here also the same thing. It is a very small crystal made up of germanium. In our lab we have the germanium. And there are 4 contacts you are getting, just like the last lecture on last laboratory on the our 4 probe method to determine the semiconductor band gap. Now look here, there are 4 soldered points. These 4 soldered points are connected to the 4 voltage, 2 voltage and 2 current probes. It is again 4 probe setup. Okay. Now look here. These 4 probes now coming out and connected to 2 current and 2 voltage probe, and here we have the multifunctional knob which can give you the voltage as well as the current. Here it is connected to, it is directed towards the current side. So let us change the current, say some to some value. Say like this. Okay. So what about this current? This is the current I passing through semiconductor. Here, this is the current I passing through semiconductor. And here you got the magnetic field what is created in the between the 2 pole pieces of the electromagnet. That is roughly 1300 Gauss. Clear? Now, this is the current I passing through semiconductor. So, we have to get the Hall voltage. So, what we should do, we will place it in the magnetic field. Now, the magnetic field is nearly 1300 Gauss, what we got. This is the current passing through semiconductor. So current carrying semiconductor is placed in a magnetic field perpendicular to lines of force. Let's take a look. These are the 2 pole pieces. So what about the lines of force direction? Nearly horizontal. Now you are placing it like this way. Okay. It is perpendicular to the, you are getting, it is perpendicular to this lines of force, the current. What about the corresponding Hall voltage? Now look here. This is the voltage what is produced is called the Hall voltage. So this is the voltage what is produced. A little bit fluctuations are there because we are working with a magnetic field, but still more or less it is now stabilized to 90 to 92 or like that, 91. So this is the Hall voltage produced. Clear? So magnetic field, current carrying semiconductor placed in a magnetic field perpendicular to it, corresponding voltage what is developed, that is the Hall voltage. Clear? Now in this experiment we have 2 tables already, we got it. Already I mentioned it. In one table what you will do, you will vary this current. You will vary this current keeping this magnetic field constant. Okay. So you will get Hall voltage in each case. In other table, what we will do? We will vary the magnetic field. This current is kept constant. Say here the current is kept at, just take a look, roughly 1 milliamp. Let this current be kept constant. Okay. Now, what is the magnetic field here? Say 1334 or 1335 Gauss. So, what about the Hall voltage? So, you just change the knob towards the voltage. You will get the corresponding Hall voltage. Roughly 90, around 90, 91 it is coming. Clear? Now, keeping this current constant, that means we are not changing the current. Let it remain at 1. We are changing the magnetic field. Say this is 0.73. Okay. What about the corresponding? This is the current. What about the corresponding magnetic field? This is 854. So magnetic field changes, but current remains same. Now let us take the Hall voltage. So Hall voltage is going to 93 and yes, mostly 94, 93, 94. It changes. Previously it was 89, like that. Now it is 94. Okay, 94, 95. It takes a little bit time because we are working with magnetic field. So induced effect to some extent is there. So to be stabilized, it takes some time. 95. Right. 95, 96 like that. This is the now Hall voltage. You change the magnetic field, so Hall voltage value changes. Okay. This is one way, that is by changing the magnetic field, and the other way is by changing the current here. That means we started with the current 1, then you can change it to say 2. Similarly, by keeping this magnetic field constant, you will again measure the Hall voltage, you will get some variation. So, look here what we are doing. How many equipment we have taken here? First is one setup for the magnetic field to create and to measure. Okay? And second one is a Hall voltage setup. Hall effect measurement setup. What about Hall effect measurement setup? One is the current part passing through the semiconductor, and second one is the corresponding Hall voltage, what is developed to measure. Now, mind it, in this experiment, we are working with two currents. One current to produce a magnetic field, that is in ampere. And that current we are not using in our working formula. And what about the second current? Second current is a current passing through semiconductor, what you are using as I in your experiment, and that is in milliamp. So current passing through semiconductor obviously is very small, so it is in milliamp, but the current to produce the magnetic field, it is a huge one, so it is in amp. So this is the difference. So I hope you are understanding that in the one table we will vary the magnetic field. Here current will remain same. We will measure the Hall voltage by placing the current carrying semiconductor in the magnetic field, and in another table we will make this magnetic field constant. We will vary this current, and again we will place it in the magnetic field to get the Hall voltage. Okay, so we will take several variations. Let us now finally take a look how many variations we have to take and the corresponding graph. So before leaving this place, let us now minimize. Okay, then put the both cases minimized, put the switch off. Similarly here, we will do minimization, and then we will put the switch off. I already mentioned during the last class that this is the normal procedure. Let us now move to the board once more. So I hope you got the fact that what about the table 1 and table 2? Just we have done it that in case of the table 1, here we will keep H constant. Only we will vary the current I passing through semiconductor. We used to take 9 data here and we start from the current of 1 milliamp and we will move up to 9 milliamp. Corresponding Hall voltage we used to get and we draw the graph. And in the second table, we will vary the value of H. So current in amp, constant current power supply will vary. Accordingly, we measure the Hall voltage and here we used to take 5 data starting with magnetic field 0.2 amp current, starting with the current to produce the magnetic field of value 0.2 amp, then 0.4 amp, 0.6 amp, 0.8 amp and 1 amp. Corresponding magnetic field we will take and then the Hall voltage. Here also we plot the graph VH versus H to get the straight line. Now the question which comes to your mind, then how to produce the value of R? Because to produce the value of R, we need one set of H, one set of I, one set of H for a given Z. Isn't that? Now here we are getting 2 graphs with 2 variations of VH. How to match them? How to match them? Look, as per our supplier, we have given standard value of Hall coefficient for H equal to 1000 Gauss. You have seen that our H comes in the ranges of 1000, 800 like that. So 1000 Gauss, we have the standard value supplied for R. Okay. Accordingly, what we do when students take the data corresponding to 1000 Gauss from their graph, they get the value of VH. Okay. Say VH1. Here. Now, from this graph, we will look for that VH value. Scale is same. Corresponding to that VH, say VH1, we will get the I value. That means you are getting a unique set of value of I, H and VH. Is it clear? Corresponding to H equal to 1000 Gauss, since we have 1000 Gauss standard value as given by the